welcome to the Road to Dracula Visions Artist Spotlight. Yay! For more information, check out the Facebook page, SlampressTomes. Click the button on the top, and we're going to be sending out some newsletters with some behind-the-scenes information, some art, behind-the-scenes art that you won't be able to see anywhere else. And in addition, we've just launched our pre-launch page. You could also see the pre-launch page on there. Click that, and then you'll be notified when we will be launching Dracula Visions. I am once again joined by the one and only Sam Noir. How you doing, Sam?
We are 1 month away. This is exciting. Things are getting real.
They are. They are.
Things are getting real.
Wow. Yeah, I'm stressed out, but it's all gonna be good.
It's all good. This is all part of our chainsaw fire juggling sideshow, Martin.
We got this.
Gallery show is coming up in 6 weeks. Actually, the gallery show starts at the Raid Gallery in approximately a month's time, less than a month. And then our actual opening will be October 16th at the Raid Gallery in Toronto. So stay tuned for more details on that as well, in addition to the Kickstarter going on at the same time.
Yep. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. And speaking of cool people, today's guest is a games and comic illustrator, a writer, sequential artist, storyboarder, and author of the best-selling audiobook series, Blunt Pencils Are Really Pointless. The one and only Katie Sawatsky. How are you, Katie?
Hello, I'm good. How are you guys?
I've only gotten to like the 5th or 6th audiobook on that series, but
I once read an abridged version of Moby Dick, and I felt I was missing something, so I swore to never abridge anything myself again.
Well, the great thing about the abridged version of Moby Dick is if you don't need the whaling manual, that's like half the book. That if you don't actually need to go out and whale hunt, then you're doing fine with just.
I feel I only want the whaling manual.
That's what they took out.
Yes, well, absolutely. No, I'm
that's what they took out. Yeah.
Dead serious.
Bang.
There we go.
All right.
So looking at here, that is some spectacular.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
We're
starting wrist pain.
We're starting strong.
Was so
as per usual, We're going to show some of your art, Katie.
Cool.
Sam's going to ask a few questions about what you're currently working on, etc. And then we'll get into the process a little later.
Sure,
All right.
yeah,
So so we'll kick it off with this, and I'll just fire through some art pieces as we go.
Sure.
As much as I want to spend the next half an hour talking about puppies, as we tend to do, let's talk about.
Just let it happen.
How did you get hooked on art and comics, Katie? Was it at a young age, or?
It was very young, and then I, for whatever reason, explored everything else under the sun, and came back to all of it a bit later, like that quarter life crisis kind of thing. I think that people have a lot of the time, and I see my friends going through it right now. I have really early memories of, you know, stealing my friends' older brothers' Ninja Turtles comics, and a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I was like sneaking around thinking, you know, like girls aren't supposed to be into this, but I'm super into this. So I'm going to go in a corner and just read this. And then so I became a girl. I did a lot of girl stuff. I'm still very interested in fashion and, you know, lady things, but
which you bring into your art,
which I think I bring into the art. And I hope that I don't bring an eye that is just that, you know, that passive male gaze that we're always talking about. I think that, like, I struggle with this on a daily basis to depict what I want to depict, show the cartoons I want to show, the forms I want to show, and hope that I am not perpetuating any stereotypes. And, you know, like this is an aesthetic approach, and that the people, especially the female characters that I draw, are three-dimensional, and they live here. They really live here, and all of my characters are facets of me, especially the male ones.
Now, you mentioned the male gaze, and this is kind of interesting. You know, gender politics are always sort of, you know, on a place that we need to navigate carefully. But is there a part of you that thinks, just by the nature of you being female, or identifying as female, however we'd like to describe that, would that not circumvent the male gaze in a lot of cases?
No, I think that, you know, that's part of that. I learned it through media studies. I learned that most of this stuff. I didn't take feminist studies.
Audience-based media studies as well is kind of the approach I believe you're speaking of.
Yeah, and like, you can internalize, you know, things that you actually would intellectually resent. So I really do try and examine that. I like this. I drew this one. I love this piece because I draw a lot of self-portraits, probably because I have this fascination with like artists being a filter. So we're all seeing the same thing. We're filtering it through us. And we're putting it down on paper. So if you draw really large noses, you may yourself have a large nose. You may yourself have a small nose and see all noses as large. So I draw myself a lot to examine that filter. And this one is just a typical, this is me sitting at a coffee shop trying, just trying. And I do find that the different ways I draw my facial characteristics and my hair, what I'm wearing, it really all kind of plays into the mood at the time. And I just think that self-portraits are a really good artistic exercise for me, which I haven't been doing enough of lately, but I'm gonna do some more now that this is post-COVID me. It's a softer me.
Now, if I'm hearing you correctly, if art is a conversation between the artist and audience, this is you saying that you're trying to take a lot of control and responsibility on your end of the conversation, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm always striving to do. And I think that's why I often I often start with words. I start with research. I start with just trying to find that salient emotion that I want to put into the, even if it's like a client brief. I go this deep. If time permits, I will go as deep as possible. But I try and latch on to this large cloud of ideas and then bring it through my filter. And I think that's what, like, I know people talk about this a lot, but the older I get, the more I realize that that's what we are doing as artists. Even, you know, writers, visual artists, whatever. You are a filter of ideas, and something that I strive for is when I filter, I want to be accurate. The way I'm speaking now, I'm looking for the right word, is the way I work. And I think a lot of people, and I love to work when I'm sketching more experimentally. And I think a lot of people just are throwing themselves really quickly onto the page. They have gorgeous results, but I wish I could do that more often. My filter is stuttering and staggering and doing a lot of self-reflection all the time.
Well, you can definitely see the thoughtful approach in terms of the amount of like detail and just the world building you do, especially now that you've mentioned that you give it, because like you mentioned, a lot of people I guess draw more intuitively. They are just putting their artwork out there into the world and not necessarily taking responsibility on how people might interpret their art. So I find it very, very fascinating that you know, you give a great deal of thought to that and treat it as a little bit more like a conversation as opposed to a passive audience.
Yeah, and it is a conversation. I like having that last bit of the conversation too. Like, I really wish I could be a fly on the wall and someone was speaking their thoughts out loud when they looked at my work. I don't. I gave art one year for Christmas. I was super broke, but I'd done a lot of portfolio work, and I'd recently come back to drawing from working in a kind of corporate environment. And I bought a bunch of frames. I framed it up really nice. And that's what I gave to everyone for Christmas. And I thought, you know, they'll put it up in their bathroom or something. But to hear what my family thought of the pieces, especially my uncle, who is like Mr. Fix-It. He sold like plastic for, or he sold branded notebooks and that kind of thing for a living. Like, he appears to be a very practical man, but the stories he came out with after looking at my work for the first time were so crazy and incredible. He was looking at one piece and he was like, okay, so I'm seeing she's come from here and this has happened and now she's thinking this. And I was like, that's sure, that works too. That's not what
he's bringing a whole new level to that you
another level. Yeah. But I think what was interesting is that the feeling was the same. That he got like the theme, just the facts were wrong.
Yeah, but well, I guess he's sort of projecting his own narrative onto it.
Of course, and I think that's what helps people interact with art in the first place. And to be honest, he is a great reader of spy novels and things like that. I think he loves to be in those novels, so you can see how people's imagination you know, sparks their narrative, and then the imagination sparks my imagery, and I just find that conversation really, really fun.
And there's an immersiveness too, and I think that comes across in your art. This is a world that you know doesn't end at the borders, so to speak. You can walk around this world, interact with the world of the people you populate in your worlds, and so it's not surprising us having this conversation that you now straddle the world of video games as well as comics.
Yes.
How does this approach bring your artwork into that more interactive, arguably more immersive world of video games?
Well, what I'm doing a lot of So I've been hired as, I would say, like the overarching title is like lead artist. So it's a new company, and at this point, can you hear the puppy crying?
Yeah, but
Crying. He
this is
doesn't
part of
want
the
to
show.
cry.
This is part of the show.
Yeah.
We want puppies on every single show, so
Look at
let
you.
them cry.
You're
Let them cry. Let them jangle.
So the person that has started this new games company, they are a systems person. They're a coder. That's what they're bringing. And they were I was looking for work. I'd had a bit of experience in video games, and he was looking for someone to bring on as the other half, which would be the visual person.
Right.
Now our lines are really blurred at this point. Like I'm doing a lot of game design. We are talking about like we do have meetings about networking and the servers and like how best to balance all that kind of stuff. But he saw my work. He saw the stuff you're seeing now, the stuff that's on my portfolio website, and he said, "This is the kind of person that I think can."
Sorry.
That's my friend's dog.
I like that piece.
I love that dog so much.
Aww. I love the hair.
I had to put that one up. I was like, I like this piece.
I love them. I still owe them a print of that. So the studio partner of mine, he wanted someone who could create fleshed out worlds that felt very real immediately and had were very efficient at doing so. So he didn't want specifically a concept artist that had been through the programs and was looking for work as like a texture designer for the shoe on the next CD Projekt Red game that's coming out in 30 years. He wanted someone that was efficient and could create worlds and discuss with him on a level. And we also share a lot of he's almost the same age as me. We share a lot of the same influences. Dungeons and Dragons, and he was a big World of Warcraft player. Not that I was that, but like we're running on the same levels here. So what I'm doing now, and it's benefiting this game, which is, by the way, we only have working titles for everything. Our studio is called Bogwalker Studio, and everything else has a code name for now. But we're building what we hope to be a very quirky and immersive MMO. Not a lot of people are doing MMOs right now. So that's actually challenging in terms of the narrative approach. That's some of the narrative research I've been allowed to do. And going deep on designing worlds and making mistakes and dialing it back and tweaking narratives, revisiting characters, connecting the world building dots is what I'm now being paid to do efficiently, but taking my time to do it. And it's funny because in comics, a lot of that stuff is just, you got to skip over it in order to hit the deadlines.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the stuff you're even paid for in terms of that world building.
That's what I said one day, and this is why I'm not working. This is why I'm not aiming to be a full-time comics creator for. I love doing indie stuff, but I'm really not. I would never really be looking for mainstream publisher stuff.
You get your page rate for the most part.
You do your page rate, but you really still aren't often paid for a lot of that world building. They do pay for it sometimes. They pay someone else to do it. So, and then you're being given this brief and there's a handoff. And I think that I really enjoy projects where there's not too much handoff. One of the tenets of the new studio is that we're aiming to always have very few employees. Like we're looking for, I love these guys. I should revisit this.
These are pretty cool. Yeah. I had a great time going through that website. These are cool. Very different. Yeah.
One of the things we're trying to do is not have a massive amount of employees. We want to keep things tight so we can keep the communication tight and keep the idea it's like broken telephone, I think, a lot of the times with these AAA studios. You get to the end, you have a beautiful polished product, but I could not tell you what it reminded me of. It has no it has no like empathy with anything outside its own game. And I think that we're trying to keep it small so we can keep the conversation alive and honest the entire time. And, you know, you got to be nimble as a small company, but this is my sweet spot. I can do comics work without having to hit the comics deadlines. I can tell stories without having to worry about getting all the lettering into a page. It's funny that it took me this long to figure that out, and I'm lucky that I'm already working in the industry.
Mm-hmm. And are these 3D environments that you are being created for the game?
It is. I'm heavily influenced by a couple of games, and they've all been just a very simple isometric top-down look. Mm-hmm. It's once you lay the groundwork for that, it's easy to start slotting in the assets. Yeah. And I'm only doing 2D assets right now, but the goal would then be to build out 3D assets out of the 2D art, and then load that in as a 3D image, but it really just looks like me drawing in perspective.
Ah, I see. Yeah. This fascinates me to no end, because you have such a very distinct style. And to try to wrap my head around how that translates into a 3D environment is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some days I can't see it anymore. You know, yeah. Also, riding the line amongst a few of these projects at once has been really interesting. With the Dracula piece, it's a single image. My favorite thing to do. And then with the Raid anthology, it's sequential, and the video game, it's all sorts of crap. But it's not just like subject matter, but it's a way of thinking that I've had to jump around. And my brain, for the most part, if given enough time to make the transition, really loves it. Really loves bouncing around. And I love what I've discovered lately is I love working on two things at once. And this is like almost an art hack if you're stuck on something. If I'm working on one thing, I get a bit stuck. If I'm working on more than two things, I get a little bit harried. But if I'm working on only two things, anything that, as I'm doing my research, and I was talking about this piece the other day, I did the sketch in 5 minutes. I did the inks in like 7 minutes because I thought it was going to be a piece of garbage. I was waiting for my mom, staring out the front door, looking for her car. And I was just like going on instinct. This is on instinct. So the ink here
That's cool.
is on instinct. But yeah, my new trick is have two projects. And whenever you get an idea or an inspiration or something, you know what, you want to tack it up on the wall or pin it to a board or, you know, say, look at that later. If it doesn't apply to project A, I say, does it apply to project B? If it doesn't apply to project B, then it goes on in a pile. It goes away. It just goes to the back of my mind, and I can kind of just calm down. And so I find like sorting my influences into the two piles keeps me on track with two things. Now you throw a puppy in.
Oh,
you can always throw a puppy in.
His tail.
Absolutely.
And that three things. No, he can stay. He's good.
He's good. He's good.
He's good.
Do you want to be on camera?
Oh yeah.
Come here.
Hi.
Oh my
Sorry, Martin. I couldn't resist.
No, it's so good.
I couldn't resist. This is making me so happy.
Hey.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
Arthur, you gonna be a good boy?
Arthur's a big
There
boy.
he is. Oh my God.
There we go. Now
7 months, 70 pounds.
Wow, he's grown so much in the past year.
I know.
Arthur is a big boy.
So you mentioned your Raid anthology comic. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? The Raid anthology is launching soon, and You mentioned that this is a story you've been kind of really wanting to tell for a while.
Yes. This is so I've written it due to creative reasons and due to computer error.
Oh.
More like several times. I wrote another story. I never fleshed it out, but it has a little bit of the same flashback voiceover conceit as the structure of the story. And I could never get that one to work. So I wrote this one almost as an exercise, but the bones of the actual plot or the setup have always stuck with me. And I've written it as a 20-page thing. I've written it as something much longer, with this being like the apex of the story. I've written it sci-fi, I've written it medieval, I've written it I've written it every which way. And finally, I think offhandedly, I was talking with Ramon. He was like, "Oh yeah, you want to be in the anthology?" I said yes, and he said, "How many pages do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, 6 or 8." And he said, "Cool." And then I went home and I knew exactly what I was going to do finally, because I've also penciled these pages 50% at least 3 times.
Oh wow!
And back when I wasn't working digitally.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really have been trying to tell this story for a long time, and this is it.
Oh wow! And Katie is talking about Ramon Perez, the Eisner Award winner, who is the Raid Studio creative director and the driving force behind the Raid anthologies, which are a collection of I'd say top tier artists being unleashed onto the world in their own creativity, like you're speaking of, right, Katie?
It's really fun. Yeah, I was given like what I would say is carte blanche for this.
Cool.
We post things to a Basecamp website, but it's really just to make sure everyone's working on stuff. And I find it really inspiring to look at other people's work, especially process work.
It ups everyone's game, right?
When everyone's game.
Community.
Yeah. And it also makes me feel often like, well, I know this is, something they're working on a Friday night, for instance. I'm going to work on this on a Friday night.
Right. I found the same thing happen with Dracula a little bit too. I've had a few comments saying, "Oh man, no, I was planning to do one thing, but now I'm going to do something else because so-and-so knocked that out of the park." So
this is the great thing about all communities, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because the number one thing I say I miss about school is crit days, like show and tell days. Good art, bad art, whatever. I don't care. I just want to see what you've done. I want to talk about your work. I have respect for you as a creator. And I just thank God for the internet,
especially in these times, in this past year.
Oh God, yeah. So that's actually something I was worried about with the Raid story. It is depressing, and I wrote it when I was not depressed, and then I was asked to do this, and we're all supposed to be working on it over COVID, and I'm thinking that's what took me so long to get started. I was thinking this is too sad for the year. I think it's going to be time for it by the time the anthology comes out.
Well, now that we're sort of coming out of theoretically coming out of this period, but just real quickly, do you want to tell the people your elevator pitch log line for the Raid story?
Oh my God, I know you jogged my memory.
Okay.
It's very few words.
Or just quickly in whatever words you can.
I think this is what I chose. He wanted her safe. She wanted to fight. And that's nice. It's a short story, but I've packed a lot in there, I think.
And I can see with that short synopsis how you could probably like take that and put it into a different settings, like you were saying.
I like it. All right, so we've come to the part of the show where I have. Oh God, I told you everybody's the most nervous about this part.
No, I'm always excited.
I have selected 10 specific questions that will test you, and we will have a full psychological profile once we get through the process. So these are all would you rather questions. Starting off with, would you rather have X-ray vision of people you find unattractive, or everyone have X-ray vision of you?
X-ray vision of me, as long as I know about it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I actually feel like I kind of live like that, where you can't keep secrets, and it's not worth it. You know, like there's faces we all present because we have to, but this is as genuine as I can be. I'm going through life as genuine as I can be, and if I also had to be completely naked, scars and all the time, so be it.
Awesome. I think we're gonna go full circle here with our question number 10, but we'll get to that.
Ooh, okay.
In 9 more. Would you rather show up to a job interview with stained pants or pit stains?
Oh, stained pants.
Stained pants.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh yeah. But
All
like,
right.
how can I say I spilled?
All right.
Oh, it's just fudge.
And you have only 2 choices in this next one. Would you
Okay.
rather have Celine Dion or Eminem perform the soundtrack of your life?
Eminem. Yeah.
Poor Celine. No, your heart won't go on? Okay.
No.
Eminem it is. All right. Would you rather get drunk off of 1 sip of alcohol or never get drunk no matter how much booze you consume?
1 sip.
1 sip?
Yeah. I used to say the former when I was like really into just tasting everything, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you just need to be drunk.
1 sip will do it. I didn't even consider the taste thing. I guess so, right?
I used to say, oh, I wish I could just drink wine and beer and just not feel like 1 or 2, drinks worth of drunk, but I wish I could drink all night and not be drunk. And that doesn't happen.
All right. Would you rather give up coffee or soda forever?
I don't drink a lot of soda because I'm diabetic. So the diet stuff's not the same. So, and I live by coffee.
You live by coffee?
Yeah. By coffee. So
I would have chose the same one too. Okay. Would you rather never eat your favorite food for the rest of your life or only eat your favorite food?
This I've also sort of had to do. So I would go with never eat it, because I did eat my favorite food weeks on end at one point, and I am sick of it. I can't even anymore. I can't.
Wouldn't that mean it's not your favorite anymore?
Right. So it's not like a paradoxical quest.
These have many layers, like an onion.
Good.
All right. Would you rather go backstage with your favorite band or be an extra on your favorite TV show?
Backstage.
Backstage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Cool. Would you rather have a third ear or a third eye?
Third eye.
Third eye?
Yeah.
You're so quick with these.
I feel like you're going easy on Katie.
Third eye. Yeah, of course.
I feel some tough ones from you.
Okay. Am I going easy?
I feel like you are.
These are easy.
Oh, okay.
Like...
I didn't think they were that easy. Okay. Would you rather start a colony on another planet or be the leader of a country on Earth?
Oh, colony on another planet. Less baggage, like I don't want.
You can start your own Katie's country.
Your own thing, and you can blame a lot of failure on, like, I don't know, lack of water, lack of oxygen, lack of the basics.
You're already blaming things.
It's not going to go well.
That's not working. All right, and number 10, which I think I already know the answer of, but would you rather never be able to keep anyone else's secrets, or someone tell all of your secrets?
They can tell mine.
I knew that from the beginning.
Yeah.
All good. Very good. All right. So apparently I went too easy on you. I'm gonna have to step it up next time.
Sophie's choice questions that you normally the more grosser.
A little more grosser? Yeah, I guess so.
Gross is good. I think gross is harder to decide because you have to picture both.
I did include pit stains.
That was good.
That doesn't count? Okay. All right.
I threw you a fudge stain.
A fudge stain. Yeah. All right. And last question. What is your favorite version of Dracula?
Oh, I love Gary Oldman. I love the Gary Oldman. And I was thinking about that the other day, probably as I was like editing layers on my piece for it, for Dracula Visions. I remember, like, I had this memory flash in my head. I went to the theater with my best friend and her older brother and his cool friends when that movie was out. And they were able to sneak in, and we weren't able to sneak in. And it pissed me off. And I think we saw Angel from the Outfield or that Ghost Dad movie with Bill Cosby or something like
Ghost
that.
Dad.
And then we had to drive home with these fuckers, and they were talking about all the parts. Like,
oh my God.
I was like, this sounds scary and sexy. And that's what I want to see. So that's my favorite. Right. That's my absolute favorite.
Excellent.
Gary Oldman has
I'm gonna because sorry?
Gary Oldman has been the hands down favorite across.
I think I think if you were keeping track.
Yeah. But I think a lot of. Sorry, go ahead, Katie.
Oh, there's something about him playing old, playing young. Like, there's a lot of versatility in that role. So I think you can defend that performance and that characterization.
Probably says something about the age demographic as well, in terms of when it was released and sort of the
maybe
age.
That as well,
because it is kind of the major Dracula movie of the 90s. I can't really think of any other sort of competition it had when we were all very impressionable. So
since the 70s, maybe. All right, because I got called out by Sam, we're going to give you a hard question. This is the question. This is the first you get. Where this one goes to 11. Okay, so this is the question that we kicked off. I think you're right, Sam. That was pretty easy. This is the one we kicked off Sean Daly's. Do you remember this one, Sam? All right.
I watched some of Sean on here, and I didn't watch that part.
Would you rather end the life of a human being or 100 cute baby animals?
Is it a cute human being? Because we've quantified the baby animals.
True.
So do I get to pick the human?
I
think it's got to be a random.
Oh,
yeah, random.
It's got to be a random.
Because otherwise, everyone would kill, like, Hitler.
Yeah. That
doesn't count. Random. Or cute baby animals, and they could be random too. They could be little chickens, little puppies.
Baby bats are pretty cute. I saw a video of baby bats today.
Oh, baby bats when they're dancing upside down.
Okay. I know what I would rather, because I do it on a monthly basis or weekly or whatever. I am not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I do a lot of vegetarian cooking as much as I can, but I actually have a medical issue where I need to eat meat. It's very odd. So I choose the animals, I guess. It's sad.
Oh, I wouldn't have been able to call that one. I would have
done that. Honest. I feel like I'm doing it. I can't lie.
Little kittens. Okay.
I would kill a heartbeat to save puppies. This is what I value.
But I'm eating them And then also there's that.
We're saving this for the highlight reel.
The dog, and there's that ad on the subway, and
I don't need puppies though. I just want the world to know.
I don't need puppies. Although I do get some puppy in my mouth, you have to admit, if you live swallowing some dog.
A little bit of puppy. All right. All right. So we'll end that one at 11. That one went up to 11. Thank you again, Katie, for coming out. And best of luck with all your projects. We got to see Katie's piece for Dracula Visions recently, and it's really great, really jaw-dropping. I think we got a lot of, we have a little internal group, as you mentioned, that kind of look at each other's stuff, and I think a lot of people were very impressed by that. Very stunning piece. So happy to have you on board. Thank you again, Sam, for coming out as well.
How about we point to the bleachers and tell them what the lineup is coming up?
For this? Okay. So we have, first of all, we have a Sketchelmania coming up. That's going to be next week. And it's going to be video game related. So folks that are into video games, we have six all-star artists that are going to be sketching for us, and we'll do an auction for that, and they're actually all individual charities, so everybody's going to have their own charity this time. And I got a whole whack of stuff that have been donated also for the auction that I'm going to be putting up as well, including a pair of personally painted Pokemon shoes, which are really cool. Yeah. Sorry?
Is that Julian's shoes?
Julian's shoes, yes. He does this now. He personalizes shoes, and we have a pair of Pokemon shoes. And he does it really cool. He does it in this little box, and it's all decorated, and he has, like, I don't know, Pokemon cards in there and all little doodads and all that good stuff. So
I should give Julian a shout. While I was away in Ottawa and Kingston, he dropped off a little care package. So we'll be doing an unboxing of some of the goodies.
Very cool.
For me.
Very cool.
And Katie, you had a question.
Am I allowed to bid on the shoes?
Of course you are.
Okay. Very important information.
And I'll go through that. I'll take pictures of it, put it up.
What size are the shoes, Martin?
Yeah.
I don't know offhand. I'd have to look. I'm not sure. I'd have to confirm. I think they're 10. I'm kind of looking between the cracks of my my screen to see if I can see it on the other side, but no, I can't see. But I'll put all the information up, and I'll sort of take some pictures of it as well. So that's the Sketchelmania that's coming up for September. But then we have 3 more spotlights that are coming up. Starting first, and I'm trying to think of it starting first with Eric. Eric's going to be our first one. Eric Vetter, which is coming up.
Artist on Street Fighter and Darkstalkers.
Yep. And then we're going to have Ramon Perez on the next one, and then we're going to have Kalman leading up to the launch of Dracula Visions. So an all-star month coming up.
The creator of the new revamped Captain Canuck.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. All right. So there you go. A little bit of a sneak preview. We went a bit long tonight, but that's okay. We had to go to 11. It's all Sam's fault. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Cheers. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye now.